I understand no matter what happens, what this is. If he leaves, I get it. I get why he would want to leave. I get why the management would let him leave because, he's 36 or whatever. And he's got all these sorts of injuries that aren't going away anytime soon. And more often than not, they're not like, oh, pinky finger, a little sore. It's like, nah, that's a 6-month injury. That's a year-long injury. They're so drastic that it makes me scared because the history doesn't show us that these guys magically find the youth of whatever, the fountain of youth. I don't know why I was struggling to think of that. It doesn't show us they find the Lazarus pit. I'll go to Batman. That's easier for me. They don't find the Lazarus pit like Ra's al Ghul and suddenly come out a 20-year-old with all these fixed ligaments and all this sort of thing. So the history isn't good for this. But he's the Mets guy. Like, honestly, you can make a case to me that his 2022 or his 2021 season, the first half of before he got hurt, was the best pitching any Met pitcher has ever done. You could honestly make a case that Jacob deGrom is the most talented pitcher the Mets have ever had and possibly ever will have, because the stuff that year and from 2018 to 2019 was so elite that you could give me Doc, you could give me Tom, but those guys are in a different era now. We've got guys who home runs at the highest frequency, and Jacob deGrom defeated them all every 5 days in 2018, 2019, and then the first half of 2021. So to bring him back, I get it. But I don't know. It's really hard. Like, if he signs with the Braves, I will be so mad. If he signs with the Rangers, good on him for getting the bag. I don't think that team's going anywhere, so I'm not too scared of that. I think they have a good foundation, but I don't trust that management. So I'd be kind of sad he's throwing the last vestige of his youth and career to this team, but I want to see him here. I want to see him finish it. But the cap and the hit it's going to do to that budget is so massive that I don't know. It's really hard.
All right, so it is really hard, but the Mets would be really stupid to let him go. And this isn't even like, well, not really stupid, because if he does leave, that frees up a lot of options for maybe a guy like Trey Turner or another elite pitcher. It's possible. It's just freeing up money. I mean, Turner's going to ask for a lot of money, so probably around Lindor area, like his contract. So at least an average annual value. So whatever. But anyway, back to deGrom. The Mets, you're talking about history, Josh, right? History of pitchers and injuries. But the Mets have a history of letting great pitchers walk, and they continue to do great after they leave. First one, the franchise, Tom Seaver. Jerry Koosman left the Mets after winning a World Series. Still had a great career. Nolan Ryan. Doc Gooden was great as a Yankee. David Cohn, great as a Met in 88. Threw a perfect game with the Yankees, had a great career. So we let all these great guys walk. It's like, that's what the Mets do. Like, let's we always talk about how we want to, these Mets are different, the ownership's different. Well, this is one way to be different. Keep the elite arm talent. And if you're going to give Max Scherzer at his age that much money, you're not going to give deGrom that money. The guy who's been there, the guy who's been there for this long has given us so much success, and the one guy in the playoffs in this 1-2 punch who actually delivered and had a great game. A great, hopefully not his last game at Citi Field. And, who are you going to replace him with? The Rodon guy? He's been just as injured as deGrom his whole career. Why are you laughing, Josh? This is all fact.
No, it's not anything you're saying. It's just you calling it the Rodon guy. Like he's like a D-list superhero joining the Marvel universe. It's like, look out, kids, it's Rodon guy.
But like, I'm serious. We have literally one of the.
You're right, though.
Two-time Cy Young guy, and we want this like random dude who's playing for the Angels and was like Trey Turner's teammate in college. Like, who cares? Like, we have the GOAT. We don't want to lose him. And this is the last thing I'll say. He has around the same amount innings pitched as Max Scherzer pre going to Washington. And he's like, so somewhat low mileage, even though he's been injured. And the way sports medicine is going, his like whole competitive mentality And I think just his intellect in general, like this guy's going to learn how to pitch a lot longer. I mean, look what Verlander's doing at 40. I think it's the Mets are like the fans who would like are willing to let him walk and are lukewarm about it. Like you're an idiot. We should be begging. we should be begging for this man to stay. And it's honestly just going to come down to the money and what the front office wants to do. Like they're gonna either they don't want, like they already said, or at least Martino reported, and we aren't the biggest fans of Andy Martino here. But he said the Mets they're going to give him like their offer, maybe go a little bit higher, but they don't want to get into a huge bidding war with 3 different teams. So it all depends on what the Mets want to do. I think we'd be idiots to let him walk. If you're a Met fan who doesn't care that he's going to leave, you're an idiot. You're an idiot of a Met fan if you want Justin Verlander to be on this team next year.
Okay, that's stupid. That is unquestionably dumb.
I don't know about.
I've been saying all year, pay the man. Just pay the man everything he wants.
Imagine
Let him retire a Met. Let's not make the same mistake we always make with elite guys.
Zach Wheeler, another one. Just forgot. Brody Van Wagen. He didn't have as much success, but just a homegrown guy.
You guys are saying is wrong, but like, I don't think they let Doc Gooden go and like Kuzman after he was like 36 and had made 11 starts in 2 seasons. You know, like, or 11 starts in the last year and a half. It's just troubling to me that this is how this goes. But gun to my head, hypothetically, there's like a little revolver right there. And they're like, do you want Jacob deGrom on this team? I'm saying yes. Because, I mean, I know I'm a penny pincher boy, but this isn't my money. If this goes up in flames, that's on Steve Cohen. It's not on me. Like, I'll be sad about it, but like, I'll be fine. I'll just keep living my life. But I want him back. I do. I'm just really worried it becomes an awful, awful contract where you want to talk about another guy who was injury prone when he got signed to a big deal off a good season, Steven Strasburg. Look what happened there. So I don't know. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I get it. And I really hope he goes to a good team that gives him a chance to win without hurting us.
That's not in Atlanta.
Not Atlanta, please. Not Atlanta. Get as far away from us as possible. If he signs with like, it'd be hilarious if he goes to the Rockies. He's like, yeah, nice air.
Great school system.
Yo, that's how you know Jake is just Jake. He's just his own simple man self. But yo, shout out to the new listeners though in the chat. We got Alex saying we need deGrom. He is the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then we got Frankie Diaz, new to the channel. Nice. Some new listeners. Are you? Maybe.
Is it Edwin's third brother?
Can we get him? Because I'm going to talk about how we should trade for Alexis Diaz later. Can we just get all the Diaz brothers, like the Hanson brothers from Slapshot, and just make it a whole thing?
That would be so cool. That would be.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see deGrom back, though. I want to see him back.
Boys with them. All right. So deGrom, we all want him back. I mean, but like I kind of mentioned that Rodon guy, whatever the hell his name is.
His name is Carlos Rodon. It's okay,
Carlos
Jared.
Rodon.
Give him a name.
Sorry, Carlos Rodon. Sorry, no disrespect. I'm sure you're a nice person.
Rodon guy.
I'm sure you're a great guy. But like who would we even? Who's gonna like? I don't like. I always deGrom's our ace. I mean, Scherzer kind of was that guy all year. But like, who are we going to replace him with if he leaves? Like, what ace are we going to go after? Because we need a legit number 2 or an ace to pair with Scherzer. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mets are definitely going to go after a pitcher, whether it is, if they don't get deGrom, I find it hard to see Cohen and Epler just sitting on their hands, not going after not a necessarily big time free agent pitcher, but like get the Bassetts, get the Walkers, get the important ones that can supplement this rotation. Not necessarily because if we're gonna throw money into anyone in this starting pitching market, there's only 2 guys who I would give money to, and it's deGrom and Verlander. Those are the only 2. maybe the only reason the only reason I'm so hesitant on Carlos Rondon is just the track record. He hasn't done it as long as deGrom has done it. He's been successful, and this was his best year this year, and he had a 2.88 ERA, and that's his best season. That's deGrom's worst season. So,
well, I think the question isn't how do you replace his numbers? How do you replace his like 1 run allowed streak? It's not going to happen. If the Mets lose deGrom, you cannot actually replace him because there's no one as good as him at his peak. So the question is more of a committee sort of idea. And the honest truth is there's not a lot of good options out there. I've looked at this. We're going to talk about some pitchers we want later. It's like, hey, Nate Eovaldi, let's go. I'm Jones. Let's go. The Zach Greinke, yeah. Like there's no one. It's like you want me to get excited over Mike Minor? I'm all set. No, thank you.
Michael
Jake
Walker, free
Odorizzi,
agent.
no. It's not a good market, and I think this is what's really interesting about the DS thing and the deGrom thing is there's such great players in such position of needs where the Mets are so thin that I think ownership almost has to just pay a little bit more than what they want just to know they have